This is Feed Your Mind. So a lot of biblical scholars say that the Garden of Eden was most likely somewhere in the Middle East area or something like that. But it looks like there's this secret on maps where they have removed a continent in the center of the earth. So this center of the earth is this landmass area where it is comprised of four different continents all put together. So it looks like it's split into four by this river. And this sounds a lot like the biblical descriptions of the Garden of Eden with the four rivers. And the question is, why would they hide this continent off the maps? Now, what's interesting is how close this landmass would be to a lot of continents, like even North America and Canada and Alaska area. So this continent in the center would not be too far from that. Even continents like Russia would be close to this area. Now it's starting to make sense why people have been seeing the aurora borealis in these areas, because one of the continents is actually said to be called Hyperborea. And so if these maps are actually legitimate, and I think they are, I've looked into this discovery and there seems to be several maps that have this secret set of continents in the center of the earth. One of the lands, like I said, is called Hyperborea, and that sounds a lot like the aurora borealis. It's like a play on the name if you look at it like that. So maybe there's a clue as far as why these northern lights have been coming from that area. Also, there is ancient maps that show these continents in the center, and there's also an area called Tartaria that's next to it as well. And I've uncovered another legitimate map that shows this area called Tartaria. It's somewhere over there by China or something, if I recall correctly. But it's interesting, like, I've heard so much about this Tartaria, and it's pretty interesting that these maps actually identify an area called Tartaria. They even have a Tartarian Sea on these maps. So what are these hidden continents and hidden civilizations on these maps? It's like we're not being told the truth about our history and about this earth that we're living on. And they're trying to conceal secrets of the North, it looks like. And this seems like it should be a bigger deal than it is. I mean, for these maps to have these continents in the center, and then all of a sudden someone comes around and removes them from all of the known modern maps. What's going on there? Why are they trying to hide this information from us? And do you think that the center landmass has anything to do with the Garden of Eden? And also, it looks like in the center of a lot of these maps is this mountain. So they're calling this mountain the magnetic mountain. So it's interesting as far as what could this mountain be. A lot of people say some of these mountains used to be giant trees. So could have this mountain been something like the tree of life, possibly? Now, when you look at the four continents that are in the center of these ancient maps, you also see familiar lands. Like I said, like you'll see North America, and you'll see, basically Alaska, and you'll see Iceland and Greenland. Really, Greenland should be called Iceland because from what I'm hearing, Greenland is mostly covered with ice. So it's interesting that they would call it Greenland. And another thing you'll notice on a lot of these ancient maps is you'll see what looks like angels blowing wind on different corners around the earth. And I've done a lot of studies that reveals that there is possibly windows in heaven that are allowing winds to come forth onto the earth. And these are different types of winds. So you can find this information in the book of Enoch. I leave the complete details in my last video called "The Oldest Calendar Discovered Proves Intelligent Design." And in that video, we cover a bit about the winds. Also, there's a video I put out called "Wind is Not What You Were Told," where we cover the winds that are coming from the windows of heaven as described in the book of Enoch. You'll have your cold winds, your hot winds. You know how they tell us they have this Arctic wind coming in the winter time and everything gets real cold. And then in the summer, it looks like there's these hot winds, and then they have winds of rain and dew. So I would guess most of the rain winds and clouds come from the windows of heaven that have to do with the spring. And then, so basically there's all types of different winds that comes from these windows in heaven. And so check that out if you get a chance. But I want to know your thoughts about these ancient maps that seem to depict the Garden of Eden. To me, that would make more sense as far as the Garden of Eden coming from the center instead of where they are saying, well, these biblical scholars are trying to say on the Middle East areas, like as if the Garden of Eden has become a desert or an unrecognizable place from what it once was. Now, there is probably something to that, because some of these deserts look like they could have probably been at one time maybe a thriving place, maybe even a jungle or something like that. But I wouldn't rule that out. But really, I would guess the Garden of Eden would probably be more of a mysterious place, like what these maps depict, as if there's this place in the center of the earth. And with that, there's all types of possibilities as far as what could this place be. I mean, could it really be a place that's that close to Greenland, where you can almost just basically walk right over? And I think even some more ancient maps showed this 4 landmass area in the center, almost connected to other areas of the earth. So it wouldn't be that hard to get to, it would look like, unless something had happened. I mean, was there explorers that once went out there and discovered this area for themselves? I've explored this concept before. I'll leave a link in the comment section and description box so you can check out more information about my research into the North Center, because there has been explorers that have searched for this area. And like I said, most of the modern maps won't depict anything there. There's been footage of some pretty interesting things in that center. They've been talking about this whirlpool area. I've hypothesized about a possible portal area. Some people say you might have to be worthy to experience this land, or some type of situation going on there where it almost seems like a portal area, possibly to get access to it. There's been a lot of myths about the North Center, and it just doesn't seem like it should be that hard to figure out if something's in the North Center, though. How could they hide these 4 massive continents in the center of the earth like that? I mean, that just seems kind of like a difficult thing to do. I mean, wouldn't have someone noticed these 4 continents in the center by now? I mean, that seems like a lot easier place to reach than Antarctica. You know, people want to see if there's a firmament in Antarctica and if there's an ice wall and stuff like that. But it would seem like it would be much easier to explore the North Center, seeing that it's so close to a lot of major continents. So I would be interested in seeing if we can get more information on this. I would almost like to get one of these maps for myself, or even verify that these maps are authentic, that depict these hidden lands in the center of the earth. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like I said, I'm going to leave some links for you if you want to do some more research with me on the subject. I'm also going to leave links to my other channels, my social media, my free email newsletters, my Feed Your Mind store, and much more. If you would like to support this channel, please donate as little as $1. Your support's going to help keep this channel online, because it's like they try to suppress the reach of this type of content, because we speak a lot of facts and truth and have a lot of interesting ideas. I guess they don't like that type of stuff on these platforms. So your support's going to help me stay online. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Feed Your Mind, signing off.